Hallo.
Hallo.
Hallo. All right, here we go.
Hallo.
Psst, zip it. Christ, that was the outro. Here we go.
You fucked up.
This is Ben from Common Knives, and you're listening to the High Carbon Podcast.
Episode 1, 2026. We are back from Christmas break. How did everybody hold up with the family this year? No fighting?
No fighting, no.
Paulie, first place in the bake-off?
Yeah, I want to hear about Paulie's competition. How did it go?
Oh, right. Totally forgot about that. So I did not participate because I thought that the fiancé of my cousin will participate. And he bailed out. That motherfucker bailed out the second to the next day before the competition. And he's like,
Disappointed.
Yeah. And I told my cousin, because she told me, I told her to call him names. I don't think they are going to translate to English. To call him names when he comes home, because I was so disappointed, because I wanted at least one person to be in that competition, be male.
Yeah.
So sadly. So it was only participating like my sister, my cousin, and both like my mom and her sister. So, all ladies. And I must say, guys, dudes, this year, it was tough as nails. Glad I did not participate. It was so fire. Like last year was terrible compared to this year. The ladies brought their A game. Well, two of them really lacked in the presentation department, where they need to present their work, actually, So sadly, they did not win. And the winner of this year's bake-off in my family was none other but my sister. She did a presentation. She's actually working in a, not like a news channel, but just a TV channel. And she's also doing like early morning radio, one of the hosts there. So she has some, she has some connections. She has some places, she can use. And she recorded an actual freaking video of her presenting her cake that she made in the news studio of that channel. And
with the green screen and everything?
It was the full studio. They do not have a green screen except for the weather guy. And she said that it took like 4 other people to do it properly, because one is doing the cameras. There are some operators, and there is one guy who is actually editing the video. And it was so great. It was so cool. It was really cool. And the cake was great. Everybody's cake was great.
Oh yeah, I was expecting you to have bought one of those 3D hologram fans that are the big craze right now, and have like your dessert spinning in the air for everybody to see when you did your presentation and all this shit. You just handed the trophy over to your sister. You handed it over.
I did. I said some very nice words. She really deserved it. It was way better this year, and she actually made almost everything that was inside of the cake. So she baked the layers, I don't know, the sheets, the biscuits, the everything, made the cream. Everything was made by her. She said she spent a shit ton of money on it, like 80 euros, I think, buying products and a ton of work, and it was delicious. It was really good. So she earned a lot of points in presentation. Also, it looked beautiful. So looks are very important too. It's like 20% of the final vote. And the taste was good. And she was catering. To the audience. And it was my favorite cake. So it's fine. It was great. And there was zero fighting, but I saw some, not spite, but disappointment in other women eyes, they knew that they freaking lost 2 years in a row. So, you know, but they were way nicer to her than they were to me. Come on, guys. Come on. So yeah. That's about it, I guess. We did all the things that I told you, except for the hay. No hay this year. And actually, it was food-wise, it was one of the best Christmas Eves ever, without any meat. The dishes were fire. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting just older. You know, I'm just getting older, and I'm accepting way more shit. You know, it's fine. It's delicious. It's good. So yeah, spent my days like that. How about you, Keith?
I had my parents finally arrived after the whole passport mishap thing, so they got that worked out. Yeah, we've just been hanging out and playing games together and stuff. Me and my father had joined the poker round, so me and some of my close buddies, it's like 15 guys. Every year, right before New Year's, we get together and do like a poker tournament. So it was seven against 7 this year. I unfortunately didn't do so well.
Did you say poke her? Poke her?
Yes.
Around?
Yes. Yeah. No, we played Texas Hold'em. It's a card game.
Oh, poker. it's like the card game poker. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we didn't hit the strip clubs together or anything. No, it was a poker game. Cards. No, I lost $20 altogether, and my father won. I think after he kind of lost some and bought in a few, and it was up $5 at the end of the game. So, but it's cool. It was funny with him not speaking such great English. He had his little pocket translator that he got for Christmas from me at the table, so able to translate some of the conversations if he had something to say. What else? Not a whole lot. Doing that and Christmas presents, opening the presents with the family here and my wife's side of the family, and getting all those orders. And it's crazy when you get all these days off and you can't get to the post office, or like I took a whole day just getting to and from the airport to pick them up and stuff. So I had to catch up on all that stuff. And I have been really looking into getting a company car right now. That's really cool. Savings right now, you don't have to pay Nova. So I don't know if it's the same for you, Polly. In Austria, the first time you register a new car, you pay a 20% tax. That's called a Nova. And so that's waived. I don't know how long that'll go for, but starting 2025, they waive that for a company car. And if you have let's see, like a work van that doesn't have seats in the back, so anything, a van or a pickup truck like that, qualifies for, like you get all the taxes back if you're a registered small business.
Is it just for like brand new cars, or is it like for you?
Yeah, just brand new, and you have to have a registered business with a VAT number.
Yeah, the only thing that we got here is that if you buy an older vehicle, it's like you get the ecology tax on top of it, depending on how much CO2 it is expelling. But for new cars, there is no tax. But for commercial vehicles, so if a company buys a vehicle, you have additional road tax.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's yearly, and every year you have to pay.
That would be it. Yeah. Yeah, they also have a hand workers bonus. You get like $3,000 back, so it works out to being like 13,000 euros off the price of a new car. So I'm looking into getting a Volkswagen because they hold their value really well, the Volkswagen vans. And if you're not buying it with all these discounts, they're usually way more expensive than the other like a Ford or anything else.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Bruno is listening to this, the Dogsmith, and he's like,
"Yeah,
one of us,
those Volkswagen vans go forever. You can drive those for like 350,000 kilometers with no problems."
Is it like a big van, or is it like a caddy?
No. It's not a caddy. That's a toy. Those things, you can buy one of those for like 15 grand. It's not a huge work van. It's like the mid-size, L1, L2H1, if that says anything to you. Just regular height and a little bit longer than the standard van. I don't know. It's like a normal Volkswagen Transporter. You know what those are?
Yeah.
Just the longer version.
Looking up on those. Yeah, I think the older version was called like a super old one, like a classic one was like T3.
Yeah, exactly.
People are rebuilding those and making, doing like camper vans, I guess, just living. Looks cool.
And
will you
and
paint it?
No, they make it in knife material red already. The whole entire thing.
No way.
But I don't know. I still like the black ones better, but the red one's like $1,200 cheaper, and it's already the same red that I need. So I don't know.
I
don't like red cars though. You have to drive like a Ferrari to get a red one.
They are faster.
Yeah, exactly. Right off the line. Yeah. In the U.S., if you buy a red car, you call it "pull me over red" because the cops. That's the first thing they notice. Those red sports cars.
Makes sense. But you don't have to worry. You are in Europe. Our cops are better. Don't worry.
I don't know. I think they all know me by now.
That's even better or worse in some situations.
Then you got this big red van with a giant knife material sticker on it, so it's like pretty easy to recognize this freaking car driving around everywhere.
Will you put a knife material sticker on top of it?
I will, but it's not going to be an obnoxious, like gigantic thing. It's probably the same size you get with the material in the mail, just something small, so it's on there.
Yeah, aren't you? Well, looking into the future, and I forget our guest name, but the guy that talked about the legislature and knife bans. Do you really want to drive with a van with a huge ass knife on it?
Yeah, that's why I put the tiny sticker on it. And honestly, it doesn't matter if I put a gigantic knife material sticker on the side. I guarantee you I will not make one sale advertising on the side of a van. There's not one guy that's going to see me driving down the highway and be like, oh, I should order some knife material from him. It's such a niche product.
It will look so cool. Yeah, you should. Will you bring? Hopefully you will buy. So you are buying it, or are you just on the fence?
No, I'm buying it. I just got to figure out all the financing and the ordering thing. I need to go down to the dealership. I did like all the online stuff already, but you know how when you get there, it might be a little bit different, or it might be a waiting time or whatever. If I did the black, I think the black was a special order, and you have to have they need to have 5 orders for that color before they'll do like a special color paint job. So, I mean, the basic is white. I could buy a white one tomorrow, but a red or a black, you gotta either wait and have it made, or maybe there's a red one somewhere in Austria the way that I want it.
So for the next Knife Show Austria, you are coming with your brand new van?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, maybe even Solingen, we'll see.
The Material Mobile.
Yeah, shagging wagon.
Yeah, sure, shagging at your age.
What about Mr. Albert? What were you up to?
Celebrating Christmas with the family?
Sausage soup?
No. I cooked the most elaborate meal I've ever cooked. So I started at, I think, 7 in the morning, and we had dinner at 6 p.m. So it took me, how many hours is that? 11 hours?
11, yeah.
Yeah. So I prepared, I think it's called game stock, like a soup from bones of the deer. And we shit loads of veggies in it. And I reduced it down over hours to the game stock, and then I made a sauce with it. So that took most of the time. The deer itself was done pretty quickly, so that was easy. My mom made dumplings. We had like, what's it called? Rotkraut. Red cabbage. That's what I did on the 24th and then the 25th. So we were just eating and drinking and opening presents.
Indeed.
And then we had a knife making class on the 27th to the 29th. So the Master's Forging class. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's our best class. So it's very well booked because people are still on vacation or have holidays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think we had 14 people. It's one of our most popular classes during the year. That's why we do them.
You're all done with the Christmas market?
We're done with the Christmas market. Yeah, we were done with the Christmas market on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I told you guys already, didn't I? Or is this? No, we had 1 week left, didn't we? We were last week. Okay, so yeah, we completely sold out at the Christmas market. We closed our booth like half an hour early because we didn't have anything left. So we left at half past 6.
You got rid of all the hunters and stuff that you made too?
No, we still had a few hunters, but the kitchen knives were all gone, and I don't want to stand at the booth for like 3 hunting knives. That's not worth it. And especially since we were 3 people there, so it was Andy, Stefan, and myself. It doesn't make sense. When you could see that there's hardly any people there, didn't make any sense to stay there for another half an hour. So we packed up early and we left, as I said, 6:30, and that was the Christmas market. So the Christmas market was a success, luckily, because we took a risk there. We've never done one, and we will do it again next year, hopefully.
Well, you mentioned the knife class thing, right? So we we have something going on in
That's a nice segue into our beef, isn't it?
Yeah. We kind of had this little back and forth thing that was going on between you and Polly after the last low carbon episode. So I was sitting in bed with my wife trying to watch a movie, and my phone's ding, 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 ding for like a half hour. And finally, I went to look at it and read through the messages of the two of you duking it out back and forth. So if I have some listeners that don't have access to the Patreon, I'm going to play a quick little clip before we get into the nitty gritty here so you guys can hear what was going on. So here we go.
I have this hot take, and please, Albert, don't take it to your big heart, please. But I think people who do classes, they aren't good knife makers. Everybody who is teaching their craft, they are, if you would be a very good, let's say, programmer, right? You would do programming and earn way more than you doing like lecturing programming in a university. So I think, unless there are people who, they have a calling for teaching, which is fine. It's just fine, But I think people who do classes, they aren't good knife makers.
So that's how it all happened.
Yeah.
It sounds like I was kissing the microphone. Jesus Christ.
No, you were afraid of what was coming.
Yeah, you kind of whispered a little bit. I had to bump up the volume.
Yeah. You did.
Yes.
And for good reason.
Oh, come on.
No, I was super mad when I heard that. I mean, not because it took it to my heart or anything, but I thought it's so stupid. I mean, I texted you guys that already, but I think for one, it's false, and second, it's stupid. So that's what I explained in our podcast chat. But for the listeners who don't know, so Polly, here's my argument. Okay, first, my first point, it's wrong. So there are awesome programmers at universities. There's awesome mathematicians at universities. Of course, they could make more money somewhere else, but for whatever reason, they chose a different career path, right? So, and with knife makers, it's wrong too. There's awesome knife makers who do classes. I mean, Toby Hangler does classes. He's one of the most proficient knife makers in the world. Martin Huber does classes. Moreko Mamasi does classes. So it's just wrong. Right? If you do classes, this has nothing to do with you being a good or a bad knife maker, I would say, per se, right? So there's good knife makers who do classes, and of course there's shitty knife makers who do classes, like the shitty programmers at universities or shitty mathematicians or whatever. Wouldn't you agree? So it would have taken you 1 second to figure that one out, right? That it's wrong. Polly?
I think, look, listen now. I gave it some thought during the past days. Because no, I just said what I said, right? And I think my biggest mistake was grouping them together the types of business that the knife makers actually run. And you can do classes, you can do, OEM work, you can do maybe consulting for some firms, and yada, yada, yada. You can do production, you can do one-offs, blah, 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 blah. It does not really correlate with how good of a knife maker you are, right? Because Albert, what does a good knife maker mean?
Yeah. I'm not. I mean, that's what I meant. I wasn't done with my argument, but okay. Let's first let me answer that. I agree. There's no causal relationship between you doing classes or being a good or bad knife maker. That was my point. There's good knife makers who do classes. There's bad knife makers who do classes. So there is no causal relationship. I would say. Right.
I totally agree.
Yeah, but you claimed that there was one with your statement.
Oh yeah, I did. I was wrong.
Yeah, so that's what I meant. So the statement is false, and it should have taken you 1 second to figure that one out. Because I mean, just the names I mentioned from the top of my head. I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's good ones and bad ones who do classes, right? There's no causal relationship, or at least no necessary causal relationship.
Yeah. You can be a great knife maker and you can teach classes and be a terrible teacher in those classes, but you are still a good knife maker, but you are doing terrible classes.
Yeah.
And you can be a great knife maker who runs a super bad business model, and you are a bad businessman, and you are not able to sell your work, and you just have to resort to just sharpening the knives because you cannot make anything new. So, it's just, I gave it some more thought, and it does not really matter. It does not, as you said, it does not correlate. It's not causate or something.
I mean, there's no necessary causal relationship. That's what I meant. But of course, but there is some, I would say, some statistics. And that brings me to my second argument. I think it's stupid. It's not just false, it's stupid. And this would have taken you like 2 seconds to figure out, I think. Because if you do a lot of classes, you learn a lot usually, right? If you have, like we do, 10 to 15 people, you've seen almost every mistake people can make. And you have to be quick in fixing them. If you have a high standards for the students' knives, you have to fix them in a way that you can't see them in the end product, right? So you have to be very good at fixing stuff. And you have to be quick because you have only 2 to 3 days for such a class. So first point, you learn a lot. And I think because you learn a lot and you do so many knives, I mean, we do almost, not almost, but we do most of the finish grinding, most of the handle grinding on the belt grinder. You become way more proficient and efficient at almost every step of the process for your own knives. So if you do that many students, you become faster with your own knives, right? So you get faster or you can get, if you're open to that, you can get faster at almost every step. I mean, that's pretty obvious. If you do something like 300 times, you're better than someone who does it like 10 times. Since it's all muscle memory with our business model and the way we build knives, it's pretty obvious that you get better the more often you do it, right?
I think the key, I have like two things that I want to say, but the first one is the more shallow one, and the more obvious one is that the key thing that you said here is that you hold your knives, the knives that you do, to a high standard, and this implies that you really care for the end product. You not only just to finish it out, but to always improve and make it better. So it kind of translates. Because if you are just a lazy class teacher, you can just, rough it out, finish it out, and, it's done.
I agree.
Paid.
But of course, but that's what I meant with my first point. There's good knife makers who do classes, and there's bad knife makers who do classes. And if you're a good knife maker who does classes, you can become even better by doing these classes. That's what I meant, right? Of course, if you're a bad knife maker and just banging out knives, you'll do the same with your students, and your students' knives are gonna look like shit. I mean, I agree, but this was my first point, that there's no necessary correlation. But if you're a good knife maker, the probability that you become a better knife maker gets even higher, right? So if you do a lot of classes. I would say.
And there is a point that I kind of don't agree, at least partially. It's the one that if you do a lot of classes and you care about the finished product, that you will improve. I think you will improve, but only up to a point. And it kind of comes from personal experience when I was a programmer and I had a side job because I wanted to overcome my fear of public speaking. I also did lecturing, mentoring, lecturing in a coding school, right? So I had 4 weeks off, and 2 weeks after work, I did teach my students how to do basic programming, and I was the last teacher for them. So they came with the biggest baggage of knowledge of programming, and we did the final project that they present to the whatever, right? And I was doing it for 9 months, I guess, and I got really bored because it was always the same problems that they were struggling. Of course, I adjusted my teaching plan, how to negate those, yada yada yada. But these problems were basic. I
agree. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Maybe this is similar with the knife classes. And if you want to become a really, really, really great knife maker known for something innovative, you won't learn that in the classes and doing that work. Yes, you will get very proficient at the very basics, but either way, a great foundation in basics is needed to achieve something great. Yeah. So I don't think that it kind of makes you a great knife maker by default if you are teaching a lot of classes,
Not by default, but if you have a certain character trait or certain character traits. And this is so good what you just said, because it brings me to my third point.
Wow, what a segue. Jesus.
Yeah. If you do a lot of classes and you're open for that, you make stuff you usually wouldn't. And this makes you a better knife maker because you increase your portfolio because of things you have to do in a knife making class. And it can tell you so many stories where, because we're very open when it comes to knife shapes and grinds and stuff, right? So when it comes to tanto grinds, for instance, I did my first tanto grind in a class. So I had a student like a few years back. I've never done tantos, right? Because I thought they were very hard to grind. Turns out they're not that hard to grind. You just have to get around doing it, right? And I had a student, Stefan, who did a class with me, and he wanted a tanto with a false edge, like a tactical knife. And I said, well, let's give it a try. We only have like 5 to 6 students back then, or had 5 to 6 students back then, so we had plenty of time. So I could try it during a class, and it turned out great. And from that point on, we do tantos with false edges, which are very hard if you do them freehand to get symmetrical, as everyone knows, right? So if you're open to that, and if your class setting is open so that students can bring their own drawings or designs and stuff, and even their own ideas of grinds, I think you increase your portfolio and you actually become better. Of course, if you do like the same knife over and over again in your class, you only get more efficient up to a point. That's what you just said. But if you're open and if you give your students like enough room to come up with own designs and grinds and stuff, you actually do become better, I think. Or at least you increase the likelihood of becoming better. I mean, at the end, it's all probabilities, but still, yeah.
I guess you become more proficient in those different shapes. With another hot take, but I don't think that having a big portfolio is that great. I just don't think so.
Maybe I wasn't expressing myself clearly, but what I meant with big portfolio is that you develop the muscle memory to do a lot of different stuff, especially on the grinder. I didn't mean that you have to like build like 1,000 different kinds of knives. I mean, no one does that, right? But what I meant is that you get more efficient with your muscle memory and more proficient, especially the grind, and also forging. I mean, it's the same with forging. If they come up with like weird ideas what they want to forge, you become better at that, I think, or you can become better at that.
Yeah, I think that tanto grind thing that you just mentioned, Albert, is like approaching the grinder at a specific like set angle. You're doing it freehand, obviously, and learning like how to get that set angle even on both sides, and those kind of things. Like even though it's not the same exactly, they would translate into handle shapes, or like getting butt caps and the front end caps and stuff like that, with all those different facets and stuff. That would definitely translates into all those little things.
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, you can use a jig for that. I fail to see the point. If you want to,
of course, I could also use a CNC to get out my knives.
You guys approach it,
but that's not my business, right? And that's not what I'm proud of. I can do. I can do. Right.
Question: what's your business?
What is the biggest part of our business, money wise, or what are we doing?
But no. You said that is not your business. Making it using jigs, using ACNC. So what is your business?
What is our business? We are building handmade knives. That's our business. And we're doing forging classes, and we're doing Damascus production. And we're doing better tools, we're making better tools and stuff. So we have different kinds of, different parts of our business.
Mm-hmm.
And they all work together. So they go hand in hand. Doing classes goes hand in hand with doing Damascus production and knife making and tool making.
So we want to say that people who are using jigs, they are not making handmade knives? Are
no,
they
I'm
using
not.
feet?
I'm not. No. Do you ask me what our business was?
Yeah.
I told you. I'm not judging it, but I mean, I couldn't care less if people use jigs. I mean, it's
exactly. Yeah, so. But doesn't it the variety of different knives that you get in your classes, doesn't it kind of is the cause why you cannot use any jigs?
No, but it wouldn't make any sense even for our own knives. We're so fast. I mean, setting up a jig would take us longer than doing the grind freehand. I think.
I mean,
we don't build the same knife over and over again. So our knives are slightly different, unless we do like a set of steak knives, for instance. There we could use a jig because we get the blanks laser cut usually. It's all mono steel, so for that we could use a jig. But even for these knives, we grind them freehand. Yeah. But here's the question for you: what's your business model? Because why not just using a CNC machine to mill in the bevels? Why not do that?
I would, if I could, if I would have that CNC machine 100%, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't care.
So you're not making handmade knives then, because that's just a production.
What?
No, you're not.
I mean,
what's handmade?
What do you mean?
What's handmade? You grind or you mill in the bevels, right? You don't need you CNC machine the handles. You screw them on, done. That's what Chinese factories do.
Yeah, but also Chinese factories do some handwork on those knives. So
yeah, but some handwork, packaging. Doesn't make it a handmade knife.
No. I can send you some Pakistanis making beautiful blades using their hands only. Artists, it does not really matter. I would qualify those as they are hand finished, not handmade. Right?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not judging. It's not a value judgment.
It's
just
judge.
It's just handmade is neither something positive nor something negative. So it's a neutral term. It's just handmade. But if bevels are milled, handles are also CNC milled and screwed on, this is not a handmade knife. It's just a wrong term for it. It might be an awesome blade. It might be awesome.
What's the line? Draw the line in the sand between handmade and not handmade.
No, it's a vague term, so it's very hard. So that's the philosopher speaking. It's a vague term, so it's very hard to draw a line. But I know if something's not in there.
It's not.
It's not in there. No, if you're, what's handmade with a knife that's made like 99% by a machine?
Oh, what do you mean 99%? I still do the most work. Bevel grinding is so quick.
I'm not talking about your knives. I'm not talking. Yeah. I'm talking about the fictional knives where the bevels are milled on. There's no grinder involved. The handle scales are CNC milled. They're just screwed on. Sharpening is done by machine, let's say. So what's this is not a handmade knife, clearly.
Ooh,
I mean,
let's wait. Let's play. Let's imagine I do have a CNC grinder and I can CNC mill my bevels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. and I use my CNC router to route out the rough shape of my handle scales. So are these knives handmade?
No.
Or are these machine made?
Machine made.
Why?
Because they were made by a machine. That's what the terms mean.
What if I finish out the profiles of the tang areas by hand to get the perfect finish?
Yeah.
I do sharpen them by hand.
Yeah.
I do ream by hand the holes on the handle scales. I do chamfer the edges by hand. I know
where this is going.
Polishing.
I can't tell you the percentage, and I can't draw. I can't draw a clear line what makes a handmade knife, but I can tell if something's so not handmade that it's not in there anymore.
So you cannot tell me the answer. Is it handmade or not?
I mean, it depends. That's a matter of definition, right? So
it's hand assembled.
Where do we draw the line? Hand assembled or whatever, but it's not handmade. I mean, it's not surprising. Almost all terms in natural language are vague, right? What makes a heap of sand a heap of sand? Is it like 1 million sand particles, or is it more? Whatever. So almost every term in natural language is vague. And your point is, well, handmade is also vague. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course it is. It's a term in natural language.
So you shouldn't call it. It's not handmade. It is handmade in some sense. So it is handmade.
No, it's not. But
why not?
Okay. 1 grain of sand is not a heap, right? And your example is 1 grain of handmade, and that's not handmade.
But okay, then define. What are you quantifying?
I don't have to define it. I don't. That's impossible, Paulie. You can't. You can't clearly define vague terms. That's what vague terms mean, and almost all terms in natural language.
I understand, but how, if it is vague? So how then you can so surely say it is not handmade?
Because it has been 99% made by a machine.
Okay, what actual numbers are inside the percentage? What is it? Is it like time spent on the knife? What is it?
I don't know.
Exactly, Mr. PhD.
It's not my fault, Paulie, that the natural language is vague. Okay?
It's totally fine. I have the problem with you being so certain with a vague term. This is what I have a beef with right now.
If I pour like a heap of sand in front of your house, you would also say that's a heap of sand, right? Without having a proper definition of it. Right?
I mean, I would say it is a truckload, then it's a heap. I mean,
what is then, Paulie?
What is a truckload? It's different size trucks.
You're just begging the question. What's a truckload exactly?
I would say around 1 ton would be a heap.
Really? That's specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if it's like 10 grams less? Or 10? Yeah, let's make it 10 grams less.
Oh, then it's no good. I have to weigh every grain and say.
Come on, you're just playing stupid now. You know exactly what I mean.
But look, you say with such certainty, it's 99% not handmade. But
yeah, let's define it. Let's say
what?
I mean, that's just a matter of definition. So I couldn't care less. But let's make it like at least 51%, right, of the time. Yeah. So if the CNC mill takes like 4 hours and whatever, I don't know how long a CNC mill takes or router, and let's say another 1 hour for the handle scales or half an hour and whatever, and assembling takes you like 5 minutes. Well, not handmade.
I would say my knives are like more than 80% handmade then.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about your knife. I was talking about the fictional knife where the bevels are milled in and everything. I know that you do your own grinding. Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. The grinding takes like me not 10 minutes in total. With like I do my grinding twice, which is before heat treatment and after heat treatment, and it's like less than 10 minutes a knife. Mm-hmm. And if I would automate it, then it would just reduce my time on the knife by 10 minutes. But it is way longer in some other areas. So I would be removing. I would be okay. Like again, I have to mention polishing or sandblasting, finishing the handle scales. If I am doing inlays, the glue in takes a lot of time and fitment. It's not always it's almost never easy peasy lemon squeezy of the CNC. You have to do edge chamfering by hand. You have to remove some stringing from a carta. Also, all of the profile finishing needs. Even if you have a super amazing CNC, most of the time you have to do any secondary operation on the profile of the knife, sharpening. Even with the sheets, the CNC router can cut out the sheath super quickly, like it's under a minute, so a minute of time, right? But then I have to cut the belt loop, burn the edges, burn the holes for it, put in the rivets for it, screw everything together, rivet together the sheath, use a heat gun to make the flaps for your thumb ramp, finish out the edges of the kydex, and it takes way longer than the machine does. And I think it's even more than 80%. Yeah. Now talking with it. So even if you have a CNC machine that can finish out the profile of the knife perfectly, 100%, it's like a mirror finish. It's like, imagine perfect. Yeah. And it can grind it. It's still removing the smaller end of the time and care that goes into that knife. And it's still, in majority, done by me and my attention or my employees or whatever. And it's handwork.
But you know that there's knives that are not made by hands whatsoever. So they're completely machine made, right? There's documentaries on YouTube you can watch. So they're completely machine made.
Oh, yeah.
So they're clearly,
Wurststoff, for example.
Yeah, for example. So there's clearly knives that are machine made, right? And even if there's some like quality control or like minor finishing stuff done at the end, they're machine made or mostly machine made. So they're clearly not handmade, right? So but if you had a choice, would you decrease the time you have to spend by using your hands on a knife? So would you buy a CNC mill that can mill in the bevels and let's say, what's your line you would draw? How much time would you have to spend on a knife? So what's your ideal, but with your hands? Ideal case.
First of all, I wanted to say this is why we were playing the game, to get away from the totally offhand made, and just to talk about just CNC milling the bevels is not it's not removing a lot of handwork. I don't have a number, and I think first I need to answer a very important question in this scenario: is what is my business, right? What do I actually do? And everybody will be surprised. It is not actually making the knives itself. I love it. I love the creation of a thing. It's really nice. It's very rewarding, from nothing to something. But I think thinking about Baltic blades, what is the essence of it? It is creating a quality tool that I don't know how to say it in English, but it is satisfying a very specific customer, right? So it is not universal. It is created for, like, a specific model is created for a very specific use case, for a very specific person that does a very specific job. And in my utopia world, I would love if I could automate everything except for QA. So quality assurance, because if I am automating everything, I want to have the same quality or higher quality with higher profit margins than it is possible. So my initial dream of creating this very specific tool for this use case, it is fulfilled. Make sense?
So you would automate everything but quality control.
If I could automate quality control, if I could automate the quality control too, I would automate it. But then I guess I would have to have a quality control for my quality control.
Yeah. Who's watching the Watchmen?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly this.
But would that still be? Let's say you achieve your ideal. Okay. Would that still be a handmade knife?
No.
Okay, good.
But I don't care about that.
Yeah, I know. But I do.
I think I think this is exactly where the whole conversation got derailed about the class thing, because the two of you run like a completely different business. And for Paulie, it doesn't make sense for him in his size shop to invite somebody in and teach them how to run the machines that make his knives. And for Albert, he's not only like making all different knives, but when he has a student come in, that student is not just there for that one class. That student is also coming back in the future to buy Damascus from him, or to go into the next class and learn how to make better Damascus patterns or different, more complicated knives. He's also like investing in like future sales when he does his classes. And Paulie, you would be just teaching somebody to take over and make the same knife that you make, because you have a certain specific product line where you make, I don't know how many you have, 5 or 6 of your models, and you'd be basically teaching somebody to take your business over.
Not really. I don't think so. We can do whatever they want, but I would just, there are some different methods, some different grinding methods, and that is, like Albert said, that one fits for grinding a shit ton of blades that are the same. Most definitely does not fit that you want to make a one-off. And I could teach that, and I wouldn't be as proficient. And if I would get more proficient, I would not get more proficient in a sense of my business, because my business is a little bit different than, the proficiency I'm gaining in. And yeah, as I said, I thought about it, and it has nothing to do. If you teach classes and how good of a knife maker you are, you can be a wonderful teacher and a super shitty knife maker, and people would also be really, really happy with your classes because you are such a great teacher. But in general, maybe you make, some mediocre knives, and it could be reverse, and it could be like equal, whatever floats your goat. It's fine.
Yeah, but here, it shows something deeper, the discussion we're having right now. It shows something, a difference between your business and my business, or what we like to actually do in the shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
this is what Keith said.
I like to do as much stuff as possible, like freehanded with my own hands, right? And you like to do. No, I was not talking about classes. I was talking about the actual work we do when we're making a knife. And you're very proficient and efficient when it comes to automating stuff, right? I have no interest in automating something. Even when I do cut out a knife blank, that's the stupidest work you can do. A monkey can do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy using the angle grinder, getting to the grinder, making a blank, right? I liked it. Yeah, I know, but that's what I do, and that's what I
artist attached to the process, not the product.
Yeah, exactly. And of course,
that's crazy.
The product has. Why is it crazy? Let people do what they want and enjoy the work they want.
It's fine. If I like to call you crazy, so it's fine. In my worldview, I think you are totally right? It makes total sense. And, it really comes down of how we are looking at this as a business or as a pleasure source, or, I look at it and I see, I don't really want to be grinding bevels after like 15 years. And I'm like, that would be, it will be getting really old. My joints will hurt. And I'm like, how can I find the things that satisfy me the most? And I can reduce everything else as much as possible that I do not like, and maximize my pleasure in this thing, and also keep the longevity in it. So I don't, there are no tough spots. And I guess the answer for everybody, what is pleasurable, what is not, what they love, like, it's really subjective. So you can do your profiling. It's fine.
Or forging a blade into shape. In your world, this doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything that is too hot of a take, but yeah.
But geometry-wise, this makes sense somewhat, forging a blade into shape, because you can forge in the taper and you get a bit of food release and everything. But I mean, that performance-wise, this makes sense, right?
100%. Yeah, totally. I mean,
but it's not efficient, Polly. Forging a blade into shape, it takes forever.
Are you? So you just have a huge press with prepared dice, and you just go honk,
drop forging. You mean? Okay.
yeah, exactly. Okay. You just have to automate it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
I think people
forged blades usually look like shit. So
it's a problem to be solved.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I think with the forging, you know what I really like? One of my, how do you say, not like favorite things, but what really tickles me, gives me the fizz, is the ability, if you have like a round bar, and to shape it out into anything else. And this is what I spoke like with a tiny bit before. It's the transformation from nothing to something. And actually seeing this, that you can turn, let's say, a ball bearing or whatever, leaf spring, I don't care, any different shape than the knife into a knife. It's something primal. It's something really satisfying.
Yeah.
And you don't really have to look for efficiencies and satisfaction if the added efficiencies remove the satisfaction. It makes no sense. So if you enjoy the process, you can just freaking do the process.
I will.
Yeah, it's fine. That is why like Lin Ray does the X-ray knives with like no handle work, no nothing, just a ton of forging, because he loves forging. And he creates something innovative from the passion and love for pursuing it. Yeah.
Fingal said something similar. I think it was on the Hustle and Grind podcast. When he started forging, he said it doesn't really make sense efficiency-wise, but he just enjoys it. So that's why he does it.
I mean, if you enjoy efficiency, then it's fine to, do something more efficient. But if you enjoy forging, just do the thing.
Well, I have a question for you, Paulie. First, I want to congratulate you. You got over your fear of public speaking for sure. And and the question I wanted to know is, after you had this YouTuber, and it wasn't really a class, but you said to me, like in chats and stuff, that it was kind of interesting and kind of frustrating and really draining at the end of the day and stuff. Teaching somebody who doesn't know or hasn't made a knife yet, is there anything that you learned in that class that you applied to like the way that you do work, or was it just like only for the video that you made the knife with him and stuff? Did you take anything away from it, the way that he approached the grinder, or that he made the knife with you? Or because I'm sure that Albert's had that before, that he's changed his process or the way that he does his grinding, or any of the processes from doing repeatedly with students and stuff like that. Did you take anything away from yours?
I understood that I don't want to teach classes because they are so exhausting. I get tired from other people. Even, I don't know, maybe it's the hospitality shit, when you are trying to be very not hospital, but like a good host.
Hospitable. Yes.
Hospitable. It sounds like a bad word, hospitable. Yeah. So it really takes a lot of energy for me. Of course, they have a great experience, but then if they have a great experience, then they will maybe refer me. I will get more clients, and I will get more of this work where I get super tired. So yeah, it's not for me. I think it's the same lesson that I learned while I was lecturing programming. And I don't think that I learned...
You were more focused on making sure that the person was enjoying themselves and having a good time than you were on like the process and everything.
100%.
And that was what...
Look, he was a great student because he came in prepared. He already tried to do like a few knives by himself, and he had some really, really good questions, which he, you only had to explain him once or twice something, and you can see, it clicked with him, and he knew how to do it, and he was a very good student. And we could talk more in depth about, creating knives, making knives, and all the processes that go into it. but I did not learn anything from my student that was way different, because he came into my shop to learn my kind of, be taught by me. So it's not like I was not open to learning something, but I mean, nah.
Yeah, it's just like I said, maybe you like shut that part off, or you didn't allow it to happen because you were more concerned in his enjoyment, and that he took something away from the class, and that the video worked out and it wasn't a waste of his time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, look, he's coming to me. I better, give him a lot of information and more information that he can do his homework. He's not coming here. Let's say it's a class and he's paying me so I can learn from him. Like, it's not how it goes. I mean, I guess even in Albert's case, he's learning the proficiency while he's doing like the grinding after heat treatment, the finish grinding while everybody's at lunch. So, and also, wait, I want to talk a little bit about classes, just a tiny remark. I think, I don't know why, but it rubs me the wrong way when this is labeled as a class, but the knife maker is finishing the actual knife. And so they can, air quotes, bring a good knife to his home. I think if I would do classes, I would fix nothing. You do it, I teach you. If you make a mistake, this is the part of the process. It's fine. You can do better next time, But if they want to continue on this path, they will see an improvement in that. And they will see how it is easy to make mistakes. And I've seen multiple knife makers who are doing classes that kind of, you just try this process, you just blop it a little bit against the grinder, you just rub it a little bit here, and then you do the hand sanding, but I will do all of the actual important stuff here too. So for me, I don't know, maybe it rubs me the wrong way, because for me it sounds a little bit dishonest, because it's not like a class, because for me a class is somewhere where you go to learn and you do it on your own. And it's not like you are going to a math class and you are taking an exam and then the teacher comes and he says, oh, you answered 4 out of 20. Let me answer the rest for you. It is not how it works, So in a better world, it should be...
But that's a shitty analogy. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So first of all, every student can try everything. So if they want to do that, their own bevel grinding, they can do that. First point. Second point, I'd rather have a student go home with a nice knife than with a shitty knife. I mean, the way you described it is the lazy way. I know there's knife makers out there who do classes who let the students just do their own grinding, and whatever comes out of it comes out of it. That's the lazy way of doing it, right? Because it's not fun to do all these finish grinds, right? So, I mean, it's tough work. It would be way easier to let the students do all their stuff. And it's still a class because they learn every step of building a knife. So, of course, they can't learn the muscle memory in one class, but they know how it's done. They've seen it. They know the hardening temperature, the tempering temperature. They know everything if they're somewhat awake. So, it's still a class. A class does not mean that the student has to do everything. If you go to university, it means if the analogy was correct, it would be like you go there first day and you have to take the exam. That's not how it works. So the teacher, the professor explains the stuff, shows you stuff, maybe even does stuff for you, shows you how, like a math professor, how a different proof is being done and stuff. So that's what a class is. In a class, you learn something, so that you can try it at home, but you don't have to learn like everything. You don't have to be a perfect mathematician after your first math class or a perfect knife maker after your first knife making class.
Or like going to a driving school and you take a couple of classes and then you're a Formula One driver because you took the class. That doesn't work that way either. You need to go home and practice.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't think, I don't know. It seems... If you are going to teach, then teach. But I think there is some ego maybe in this. I won't let my students go with a bad knife home. It's fine. Everybody makes mistakes. And calling it lazy, I mean,
no, that's lazy way of doing
I guess. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I
just would take one of my knives, go to the grinder, show him, well, that's how freehand grinding's done. Go ahead. Do it yourself.
Yeah, but you know what happens then? You, like in the reverse example, you can touch it to the grinder and I will finish it for you. So you are robbing them of the actual experience. You know, they are getting this.
I'm not robbing them of anything. They can do their own finish grinds if they want to. I mean, we've had
they
students. Of course, some students do.
I mean,
no,
surprise.
we've had on a more serious note, we have shitloads of knife makers who do classes with us. So if you're a knife maker, you can do your own finish. Ben from Alp Knives did a class with us and others. So they do all of them do their own finish grinds. Of course, we don't do them for them, right? So
makes sense.
That's not the typical student, right? So the typical student has like an office job at a bank or something, has never seen a belt grinder, maybe wants to try it, can't try it, figures out pretty quickly that there's like 100 different surfaces where there should be one, right? And then you show them, and then they usually say, maybe you can help me, and then we help them, right? What asshole would say, no, I'm not gonna help you. Finish grind this knife.
Look, it kind of rubs me the wrong way because it shouldn't be called then a class in my mind. It's just purely subjective. I think it would be like a workshop, you know, just a day with a knife maker or something like that, where you can just experience and try stuff, but it's not like an actual, you know, you are not fully committed to it. You are just a civilian, not non-knife maker, normal person who wants just to dabble in it. Just don't commit to it. Just kind of, I want to cosplay as a knife maker.
Okay, but what makes a class a class then?
First of all, you know what rubs me the right way?
Mini hell.
Kills. My dudes, my guys, my gals. For 2026, we are still sponsored by minihell.eu because they got the next kiln for you. Our good friend Baltazar from Poland, he makes wonderful heat treatment ovens. He makes them in fixed sizes, and also if you don't find a size that you want, maybe something super small, maybe something super huge for tempering or hardening, you can shoot him a DM or an email at minihell.eu and he will settle the score for you. And while you are there, you can also buy heat treatment foil, heat treatment rags for badge hardening, and at the checkout, please don't forget, if you want to save money, use carbon 5 at checkout. You will save 5%. And now back to the rubbing show.
I can't wait to hear all the instant messages you get. For any of our listeners, he's Polly's Baltic Blades, all one word, on Instagram. You can send me messages about this episode.
It's fine. It's new year, new me. You expected me to calm down? Yeah, I will be spitting out more shit. It's the same old, but a little bit exaggerated. So what should I define?
I mean, we're arguing about words that's so stupid, but still, what makes a class a class then? I mean, if this is not a knife making or forging class, what makes something a class? Yeah, for you.
Class is where you go, you learn, you apply yourself. If a problem arises, a small problem, let's say you're doing a Damascus class, right? There is a small delamination. The teacher steps in, shows you how to fixes it, and you still finish out mostly it by yourself with the guidance of your teacher, right? And if it does not work out, I heard some people fucked up some, Damascus billets, very expensive ones. Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's a teaching experience, You sign up for it. But if you are coming in, you're just, sniffing and looking and, I want to try a little bit of this. I want to shape the handle, but only one side. Maybe you can finish it out. Yeah, it's fine. It's not a real class. It's just cosplaying to be a knife maker, But it's not, I'm not like, talking down to them, It's cosplaying to be a knife maker. It's an experience to be sold, which is fine. I don't care.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
But they ain't knife makers, Polly. So what else should they do? It's just cosplaying being a knife maker. I mean, I don't get why there's anything wrong with that, or why it rubs you the wrong way. If students have like all the freedom they want to have, they can do all the grinding themselves, or if they ask, or if they want to, we can help them, or even do it for them. I mean, we had students like 80 years old, okay? Like a physician from Vienna, 80 years old. He wanted to do forging like most of his life, never got around to it, and then his grandkids bought a class. Yeah, what do you think? Do you think you can get this old man in front of a grinder and say, well, now do the finish grind, do the handle grinding all by yourself? I mean, you don't do that.
How old is Steve Schwarzer?
He's got years and years of experience, though. He can do that in his sleep.
Totally different guy.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's only my understanding of the word class. It's fine. It's my problem. You don't have to solve it. But if you want to solve it, I can go and lay on the couch and we can continue this therapeutic session. But what it means then to be a knife maker? From when do you become a knife maker? What do you need to do? The bare minimum. Again, draw a line in the fucking sand.
If you made a knife all by yourself,
then you're a knife maker.
Yeah, you made a knife. That's what knife making
But what if I buy a blade,
you're not a knife
hidden
maker.
tongue blade, and then I sculpt and make the handle. And
you're not a knife maker. You're a handle maker.
You're a handle sculptor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I make the sheath too, and I regrind the bevel on the blade.
I mean, I would make some exceptions if you don't own your own heat treating oven and you send it out for heat treatment somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I would still say this guy's a knife maker.
What if I water jet cut my profiles?
Mm.
I send out the heat treatment.
Mm.
I do bevel grinding with a CNC machine.
Mm.
And I use CNC router to make handle scales. Am I a knife maker?
Yeah, you're a knife maker. You made a knife by using all kinds of machinery, but you're a knife maker, of course. It's not a handmade knife, but it's a knife.
And what if... But aren't I then a CNC operator rather than a knife maker?
You can be both, Paulie. You are also a man. You're Lithuanian. You have all kinds of properties.
Beautiful, smart, beautiful
tall.
Eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
thank you. But
these properties are not contradictory, so you can have both.
Okay. I want to play along a little bit with this. I mean, it's a long show, but what if I'm not doing the water jet cutting. I'm not doing the heat treatment. And the bevel grinding is outsourced to another facility. Am I a knife maker?
Knife designer.
Yeah.
Bingo. Okay. This was the amazing piece for me. Thank you. That makes perfect sense, actually. But yeah, I'm also a knife manufacturer then. Maybe. It's like a B2B business,
Could be. We should call this episode 3 Guys Talking About Vague Terms in Natural Language.
Yeah.
Knife making related terms.
I think we should call the episode and let the listeners write to Polly, like I said, all one word, Baltic Blades. No, they should send some messages, and it would be interesting to keep it going on the Instagram page, see what everybody thinks.
Dear listeners, I won't be able to respond. Maybe I will send you voice messages because I got a boo-boo. I got a boo-boo. I put my finger into 120 belt, and I now have French tips one on one of my fingers. So yeah.
See, you should do more classes. French, this makes you more proficient at the grinder, Polly.
It was such a stupid mistake. I'm hating myself. Look, I gained respect for the grinder, and it was a super sharp belt, and the finish on my tender meat under my nail is immaculate from 120p. It's very nice.
And then you went up to 240, up to 800, right? To make it nice and shiny.
Buffed it.
Buff it. Yeah. Okay, should we call it a show?
Yeah, Albert needs to edit this one, and
Yep.
He's got to do it tonight because we got to put it out Thursday morning. All right, Albert's gonna have to edit in this ending somehow so it makes sense.
Be lazy.
Polly out.
Polly out.
All right, guys. We will continue the shenanigans for the rest of 2026. I guess we'll talk to you all next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tschüss. Wiedersehen. 2026. Polly out.